Some of you are probably like, Misty, does your shirt say vote? Because it's a little too late for that. It does say vote for the cocktail party. It's a pretty accurate representation, actually, of how I'm starting this year. Hey guys, welcome back, or hello if you're new around these parts. My name is Misty, and I am doing a super late 2017 resolutions and goals video. There are a few reasons for that, but mostly every time I kind of thought about what I wanted to prioritize this year, I just didn't, you know, I think we're all in that kind of weird funk where we're just like over everything and a little hopeless maybe. So I just would look at it and not want to sit down and actually try to figure things out because it was just stress flailing. So I've been kind of putting this off, but today I sat down and did it, and actually once I sat down and started writing in this year's bullet journal my goals and resolutions, it just kind of came spilling out. So clearly these are things that have been building up, and I'm not going to go over all of it because it's not necessarily... Is this distracting anyone? Having my computer open? But then I close it and you see weird shit, like the fact that I have prenatal vitamins. It's not, I'm not just really good for your nails and hair. That was actually giving me a small amount of light. Let's bring over the salt lamp. This is a mess already. How's that? Any light? That didn't help at all. This is the dark side. It doesn't reach over there. Did that help? Am I just totally washed out now? Sorry. Okay. You know, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. We're moving on. As I was saying, we're obviously not gonna go over all of my sort of goals and resolutions because a lot of it just doesn't apply to any of you and you're not gonna care. Who cares? It's the basic stuff, you know, wanting to eat better, work out more, save money, all that jazz. Everyone says it every year. It's just the typical self-improvement track. And yes, that is important, and yes, that is in my goals this year. But above that, both literally, first thing I wrote in the bullet journal, so it's above it, but also metaphorically above that, more important to me this year is kindness. And I really want this to be a year of just focusing on counteracting all of the shit in the world right now and putting out kindness, making a point to let people know you're thinking of them, and sending snail mail because that brightens people's day, and little gifts, and being that little drop in the bucket that creates the ripples that hopefully continue to just get bigger. So you brighten someone's day, and then they brighten someone's day, and then that person brightens someone's day, and it just is the potential for exponential good and kindness and happiness. I know that sounds so cheesy and hippy-dippy, and I think for a long time I've kind of tried to act a lot more jaded than I am, and really I'm a marshmallow. There's like a marshmallow core in there. It's little, you know, it's tucked away down deep, but you know, there's some soft little marshmallow in there, and I'm sick of hiding it. I'm sick of hiding it. I'm sick of acting like the shitty ways we treat people are fine, and that we should just expect it because it's not fine. I know a lot of us hide our marshmallow cores because you don't want to get hurt, and you don't want to seem like a fool when people take advantage. And you know what? Fuck it. I don't care about that anymore. Some people will take advantage, most people just need it. They need that kindness, that help, whatever it is, and I want to embrace that and make that a pattern of behavior in my own life this year and encourage it in others. So that is my number one goal, and I'm letting you guys know that not only because I hope you'll join me in that, but I want you to keep me accountable. Give me ideas. What are some things that you do that help you remember to be kind, to be patient, or things that you do to brighten other people's days, or things that people have done for you that have brightened your day? How do you put positivity into the world and make your mark in an uplifting way? Because that is my number one goal this year. I really want to do as much as I can in my own small way, however it may be at the time, to help turn back the tide of just doom and gloom that we're all kind of under. So that is my number one goal. And as part of that, and embracing my marshmallow core and just trying to be more my self and happy myself. I've talked about this before, I think probably for the last 2 New Year's. I've talked about wanting to change the direction of this channel. Not to change it necessarily, but just expand it. And I've always kind of gone back and forth, and it's hard to dig yourself out of a rut if you're in it. So I've been in sort of book template for a long time now, and it can be hard to kind of get beyond that. But I've realized, especially over this last year when I wasn't enjoying it, I wasn't enjoying the things that I was reading, even if I know they're things that I normally would have. I wasn't happy about them. I wasn't happy about doing the same thing all the time, and I'm sure that for a lot of you that gets boring. It gets boring for me, why wouldn't it get boring for you? I don't want to just do things out of habit or because they're the easy thing to do. So this year I'm kind of letting go of the title of booktuber, which is something that I've always kind of hated, if I'm honest. I hate that word a lot. Booktuber, I hate it. I don't know who came up with it, I'm sorry. Trying to be kind, but I really that's a term that sounds like a growth. Anyway, I'm just gonna kind of let it go, and along with it, this has been a struggle, but I'm letting go of review books. Now, I've never been one that has requested a lot of books. I just get a lot of things sent to me, and I get a lot of emails asking me if I want things, and I'll say yes, because hey, it's real hard to turn down a good book. Like, let's be honest. As I said, I was noticing I wasn't enjoying them just because I felt like there was never a time that I could just look at the hundreds, literal, like well over 1,000 books on my shelves and just pick something that I wanted to read. I couldn't reread old favorites. I couldn't join friends in book clubs because I felt like I didn't have the time because I had books that I had to read. And though I'm eternally grateful for all of the books that have been sent to me, whether I liked them or not, whether I requested them or not, like, it's amazing, and they make up a good portion of those hundreds of books. Mentally, they were weighing me down so much that even the books that I should have enjoyed, I wasn't enjoying, and I wasn't wanting to read them. And even books that I was enjoying, I was just like drifting out on and not caring because it sort of felt a little bit like work, and it took the enjoyment and the passion out of it. That was the reason I started blogging and vlogging about books to begin with. I think I kind of hit a point towards the end of last year where I just wanted to read something. I had a stack of things that I needed to get through, and I was feeling petulant. I was like, I'm not doing this. So I just picked something off my shelves and read it and tore through it and loved it just for the joy of choice, and picked up another one, and it ended up being my favorite book of the year. And that kind of moment made me realize that I had broken the emotional attachment to review books and saying yes to things. And I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be hard to turn down books, especially with publishers that I've worked with, and I want to, help them out, and I want to help promote their books and whatever. It still will be hard to say like, oh, this awesome book that you're offering to give me, thanks, I'll pass. Like, that's really gonna tear at me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But it doesn't do any good to have it sent and then me be apathetic and not want to read it just because I feel bogged down. So I've just gotta let that go, and I think finally this will be the year that I do it. Now, I did try this a few years ago where I was only gonna accept so many review books, and that just never happened. And then the following year I was only going to read books off of my shelves, and what ended up happening was books that I wanted to read I bought so that they were on my shelves so I could read them, and that was bad. And I'm sure there will still be books that show up, and I will try to feature them in some way, and I'm sure there will be books that I make exceptions for because I know myself, and being rigid about things isn't going to make me any happier. It's more just clearing and starting fresh and getting back to reading based on mood, not only what I'm craving for reading, but how often I'm wanting to read, so that I don't feel like I've got this stack of things that I need to review looming over me and they're just getting further and further behind. I don't want to feel like that. Book things on this channel, as a result, might be a little more sporadic, I mean, let's be honest, I'm still always going to feature a lot of bookish stuff. I'll still let you know what I'm reading, I'll still review things, I'll still show you things that I get. On the blog front, I will still have reviews and interviews and guest posts and things as they pop up, and I actually do have some book-specific things that I want to start this year, so I'm not by any means stepping away from all bookish things, but I don't want it to feel like that is the only part of my life that I share with you guys, and I don't want my biggest hobby, reading, to feel like work. I want it to be enjoyable, so things will kind of be changing on that front, and I'm still figuring it out, and it'll probably be a while of just trying things out and finding what works for me, and I want to just be able to change things as I go on the fly, and if something doesn't work, ditch it and move on. So that's kind of the big goal resolution thing that will affect you guys. And the other side of that is, if I'm not focusing as much on books, even though it's still a huge part of this channel, what are some of the other things that I'm going to be kind of making up for? Because, as I mentioned in a previous video recently, I think the old YouTube wisdom was to have a very tailored channel because that's what viewers want. And I think that we've really grown beyond that. I think people watch a channel because it's kind of like a relationship with that channel. You might seek out a certain video on a topic for a specific reason, but as far as coming back, it's not because they're talking about the same thing every time. It's because you've developed a kind of relationship with that person. So I think the old wisdom doesn't really hold true anymore, and I think that's good, because I think keeping people in a box like that is just kind of boring. So some of you might only be looking for book stuff, and as a result, if you don't feel the need to watch this channel anymore, or you only want to watch the book stuff, I totally get that. That's fine, and it's been really nice having you. And I don't at all mean that facetiously. I'm absolutely sincere when I say, for the past however many years I've been doing this, 8 or something, you've chosen to spend time with me on occasion and listen to me ramble, and that is incredible. And if you feel like here is where we part ways because, you know, we're just going in 2 different paths, I still am thankful for any time that you have spent with me. That's awesome. I don't at all expect you to stay with me if your interests or my interests have changed. We all kind of drift in and out of people's lives naturally and online, and that's okay. So if this is the time where you're like, peace out, I don't want to listen to you talk about bullet journals or watch you vlog random walks with your dog or whatever, that's fine. I've loved having you. If you ever decide to stop back by, like, you're more than welcome. I look forward to chatting with you, but it is time for me to kind of help this channel reflect me more and become a tool for me to express myself beyond just books. I've been kind of vlogging sporadically, and I want to bring that back, and part of it is because people ask for it and they want to see, you know, what I'm up to, but it's also really nice for me to be able to look back on something, you know, that I might have forgotten that I even did, or to have actual, like, video proof of, you know, times that I went and did something fun with friends or whatever was going on in my life at a certain point in time. It's really nice for me to be able to look back and see those things. So I want to do those regardless of if they get views. I want to sort of prioritize my own self-expression this year, and one of the ways I want to do that is through blogging and vlogging. So there will definitely be some changes coming. Some might be subtle, some might be total overhauls. I might change the name of the channel to be more reflective of where I am now and not just to be solely book focused, because I don't feel like that will be accurate, and I don't feel like it's very inviting to people who aren't interested in the book stuff but might be interested in the other stuff. So as I said, I'm still trying to work these things out and figure out what exactly it is I want to do and have moving forward, but that's kind of my main focus this year, those 2 things. Being positive and kind and doing random acts of kindness and being a force for better in this world. And then the other being as much myself as I can be, continuing to embrace that and improve it and not be afraid of the people that are gonna look at you and try to tear you down and say that, you know, you're bleeding heart liberal and you're whatever. All those things that we try to undermine kindness and positivity with. I just want to that and embrace my own growth and my own path through this vlog, through my blog, through everything. those are my two big goals this year. They're weighty ones, and they can't just be goals of the moment. They can't just be goals of the year. Those are goals for life, and 2017 is just the year that I start really embracing them. So that's kind of where I'm at. It only felt fair to give you guys warning that you might see less book stuff, or you might see very different book stuff. If you're used to a lot of YA, some of that might go away. I still like YA, but it's been so long since I've been able to really embrace a lot of nonfiction or adult literary fiction, just because it didn't feel tailored to my blog or channel, and I've missed it. So more of that's gonna start creeping back in. Beyond that, I guess we'll just see. That's, you know, probably enough talking about all of this, and sorry if it was a little chaotic or it's not what you want to hear from me. Again, I hope you stick around. I hope you are happy to be part of this new chapter wherever it leads, and I hope you'll join me in being kind and positive and working to bolster that in others. But regardless, it's been nice having you for as long as I have you. Welcome to anyone else that joins me, and here's to hopefully an amazing 2017. It's up to us to make it so.